So what if I told you that training a really powerful AI model, the kind of thing that used to need a massive corporate budget, is now something you can actually do yourself for less than the cost of a new video game? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how that is even possible. Let's just, hop in a time machine back to 2019. To train the original GPT-2 model, OpenAI spent an estimated $43,000. I mean, that number is just a massive wall, right? It kept this kind of technology locked away in the hands of only a few major labs. Okay, now let's jump back to today. Using the very same class of hardware, you can get a GPT-2 level model up and running for just $48. No, that's not a typo. The cost has absolutely plummeted. And the big question is, how? Well, the answer is this amazing project from Andrei Karpathy called NanoChat. It's a completely open source repository, and it was designed from the ground up with one goal in mind: make training these huge language models simple, hackable, and just incredibly accessible for everyone. The project's own tagline just captures the whole spirit of it perfectly. It's not trying to build something that'll compete with the biggest, most expensive models on the planet. Nope, it's all about empowering literally anyone to build the best possible model on a budget that a single developer or a researcher can actually afford. And NanoChat isn't just one little piece of the puzzle. It's the whole shebang, a complete end-to-end pipeline. It handles everything. First, tokenization, which is basically just breaking down text into little pieces the AI can understand. Then pre-training, where the model just soaks up knowledge from tons of data. And then fine-tuning, where you get to specialize it for a task you care about. And the best part? It all wraps up with a chat interface so you can actually talk to the thing you just created. Okay, so enough talk. Let's dive in and see how you can actually do this yourself. We're going to walk through the whole process, and you'll see just how unbelievably streamlined this is. And believe it or not, the entire thing really just boils down to these 3 simple steps. You get your hardware set up, you run one single script to train the model, and then you run another one to start chatting with it. That's really it. All right, so first things first, you do need some serious hardware, but, and this is the key part, you don't need to own it. You can just rent a super powerful multi-GPU machine from a cloud provider like Lambda for a few hours. This is the secret sauce to getting all that computational power on a tiny, tiny budget. So once you're logged into your machine, step 2 is literally just running this one command. This script, speedrun.sh, has the entire recipe baked right in. Data prep, model training, evaluation, all of it. You just kick it off, go grab a coffee, and a few hours later, boom, you'll have a fully trained GPT-2 class model waiting for you. And once the training is all done, this is the final, most rewarding step. You run this UI script, and it pops open a web interface, looks a lot like ChatGPT, where you can start having a conversation with the model you just built from scratch. How cool is that? Okay, this is where NanoChat gets seriously elegant. It takes what is usually one of the most complicated parts of training an AI, fiddling with all the different parameters, and it makes it dead simple. The magic is all packed into this one little parameter: depth. So instead of needing a PhD to figure everything out, you just decide how deep or complex you want your model to be. NanoChat then automatically figures out all the other optimal settings for you. Things like the model's width, the number of attention heads, even the learning rate. It's basically a single magic dial for your model's size. Now, of course, I know what you're thinking. Not everyone is going to go out and rent a top-of-the-line 80-gigabyte GPU server. And the beautiful thing about NanoChat is that it's designed to be tweaked and adapted to whatever hardware you actually have access to. So let's say you try to run this on a smaller GPU, maybe the one sitting in your own desktop computer. The first, and by far the most common problem you're going to hit, is this: an out-of-memory error. Your GPU's video RAM is just completely full. But don't worry, the fix is unbelievably simple. You just go into the script, find the parameter called device batch size, and just lower the number. This tells the model to process data in smaller chunks, which uses way less memory. You could just dial it down from the default of 32, maybe to 16 or 8 or even 1, until it fits perfectly on your GPU. NanoChat also adapts in another really clever way. It automatically checks what kind of hardware you have and picks the most efficient data format for it. So for modern GPUs, like an H100, it uses this speedy format called bfloat16. But for older GPUs, or even if you're just running on a regular CPU or Apple Silicon, it smartly defaults to the more stable float32. The whole point is it's designed to just work for you, right out of the box. So what does all this accessibility actually lead to? I mean, this isn't just a cool party trick. It's fundamentally accelerating the pace of innovation for everybody. Just look at this leaderboard. I mean, this tells such an incredible story. OpenAI's original training run took 168 hours. That's a full week. But thanks to optimizations in the NanoChat repository, driven by Karpathy and the entire open source community, that time has just been crushed again and again. It now stands at just 1.8 hours. It's just wild. And that really brings us to this monumental shift that we've all been witnessing. What required a whole team of elite researchers and a massive budget just a handful of years ago has now become a weekend project that costs less than a nice dinner out. The power to build and experiment is finally, truly in everyone's hands. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. When the tools to create state-of-the-art AI are this cheap, this fast, and this accessible to everyone, it's not about what a few big companies can do anymore. It's about what a global community of millions of creative developers, researchers, and hobbyists are going to build next. And honestly, what comes next is anybody's guess.